howdy, hey, awesome people of the internet. Wolfman Force and Dash here. So, last year at Cambridge Film Festival, my friends Clank Soka and Mr. Dan 1466 went to go see this animated film called Flow. Now, those who don't know what Flow is, this is by one guy who did all the animation, all the and everything about it, and it was made using this software called Blender, which you might all be familiar with. So, the film recently awarded the best Oscar for best animated feature, which is really great because it means that there is another year where Disney have failed to win the Oscar for best animated feature because the studio is dying, basically. So yeah, so great, giving other animation studios and indie animators a chance. So yeah, let's talk about it. So Flow is another one of those films that doesn't have any dialogue, so you're kind of left to your imagination as to what the all the animals are saying. The story itself is about a cat whose world is kind of become flooded or covered in water, and goes on a journey alongside these other animal companions, including a dog, a lemur, I think that's what it is, a beaver creature, and a few other dogs, and this big massive bird. Uh, they go on this sort of journey to sort of try and discover the source and try and figure out how to deflood their world. I guess is how I picked it, and I'm not going to say any more than that because spoilers. um, the film is beautifully animated. It's definitely one of those films that the animation of which is something to behold. And bearing in mind this was made using Blender, which can be a complicated piece of software to use if you don't follow tutorials. But the guy that made this film, and bear in mind this is the second film he's made using Blender. The first they did was Away, which I've not seen yet, but I will do at some point. Um, yeah, it's a technical marvel. It's a technical masterpiece. Really great animation, full of heart and soul. Some emotional moments and moments where you can just left to your imagination as to what's actually happening. And I think a lot of animated films, particularly those from the major studios, should take note that people just want films that are animated in the way that Spider Verse was animated, or animated in like this, where you can it's kind of like a painting, or it's kind of like coming straight direct from a storybook, because that's really what people like seeing nowadays. And it's good that lots of studios are doing this. So obviously Sony are doing this, DreamWorks are doing this, um Paramount are doing this. Disney are not doing this at the moment. They tried with Wish and failed spectacularly, and honestly, Wish just looks like another typical Disney animated film that led to nowhere, basically. Um, so yeah, they do need to catch up. I'll be honest. I'm not sure if Universal are doing. Sorry, Universal and DreamWorks. Duh. um. So yeah, so Flow's definitely a good film to watch. It's definitely one of my top rate. It's definitely one of my top rated animated films that's come out in the sort of this quarter of this year. Even though, excuse me, even though technically it came out last year, but it came here to UK shores this year. Um, so yeah. Uh, what else can I say about it? When we saw it at the cinema, when I saw it at the cinema, bearing in mind I went with Clank Soka and our two friends. Clank Soka wanted to see it again, knowing him. Um, and the cinema had just released the Snow White remake, and thank God was our screen busy, because our screen was busy with lots of families who for the most part were pretty well behaved and were very engaged with the film, which is great to see. Because when you're competing against a much bigger studio, you did assume that lots of people would want to go see that over this, but turns out they really wanted to see this film, and good on them for giving it a shot. Um, what else? And because they're families and probably don't go to the cinema that often, there is a post-credit scene, and they didn't stay for the post-credit scene. You kind of think by now that lots of films these days do these post-credit scenes, and some of them do are sort of meant to lead into a future film, and then others are just there just to give you a bit more of what you love from the film. And for some reason, all the families left or came close to leaving by the time the thing ends. It's like they've kind of not really really cultured or whatever. But for what it's worth, they were all very well behaved, very well engaged, and I was engaged in the film, and I've got no real issues with the film. I thought it was a very good, very well animated film, and you kind of get the sort of idea and makes sense and everything. And although it was made using Blend animation, I kind of want to play. It kind of reminds me of these indie video games that I played years ago, where you can get to play as these animal characters and just explore the world and just try and fix it. It really had that vibe for me, and yeah, it's good to see this sort of thing come to the big screen. And one day I will play the game Stray, but hopefully that'll either be for Let's Play or a long playthrough. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna give Stray a perfect 10 out of 10 because I've got no issues with it, and I look forward to seeing this guy's next film, and also his previous film Away, which I will watch at some point. I know Clank Zoka and Mr. Dan 1466 will have seen that film as well by the time this review has come out. But yeah, I'm hoping to see it at some point myself as well. So yeah. So that's what I think about Flow. Obviously, draw your own conclusions in the comments below. For those of you wondering, this was not distributed by a major studio. It was distributed by various I guess you could say people that helped fund the film and helped bring the film to film festivals and everything. Because very rarely do we get to see films that are not distributed by major studios or semi-major studios. Some of them are just distributed by these smaller companies that you would otherwise not know about. And the film did start off with a very, very long set of logos. I know lots of films are usually known to bring out a lot of logos to try to kind of say that this person made this person made this person made this, etc., etc. But with films like this, it's okay because it's good to have these otherwise not very well known companies some recognition, which is great. So yeah. But anyway, that's what I think about Flow. Draw your conclusions in the comments below and let me know if you've heard of the film and want to actually see it or not. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I do vlogs like this where I talk about various topics and just review things, and also do hauls and talk about life in general. If you like gameplay videos, I do that as well. I do gameplay videos where it's just straight gameplay, nothing else, but it's usually just following a long game from beginning to end and separated into multiple videos. I also do Let's Play videos. You'll know what those are. Sometimes I do my long playthroughs as Let's Play videos, depending on the games in question. And I have been doing lots of random shorts, but I am cutting down to the point where nowadays it's just shorts where I'm either going to the cinema or I can say something in under a minute. So yeah, that's what I do. And I do random polls as well for various things. So also, whether it's to help the channel out or just because I'm curious as to what people are saying. So yeah, that's what I do. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And if you see the world the world you once knew is kind of turning to pot, maybe see if you can go on a little journey with some companions and find out what the problem is, or just go on a journey anyway, and find yourself, find your purpose in life and all that, because going on journeys like that do help. So yeah, right, toodles.